dead before it said let's fight!
No! That's impossible!
By the way.
BT Dubs is BTW. I'm gonna punch you up! Nope, I'm not coming down. Where am I? Help!
Milk!
Chance got $5.
The champ got 5 on it.
Back where it came from.
Back where it came from.
Ah, here we go. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Go fast enough.
Oh, I tried to go in jump low. Don't alter me.
Wow. One live, you coward. Oh, no. I shouldn't have done that.
All right. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the First to 50 podcast, episode 37. My name is Scum. I'm happy to be here. Meshi, are you happy to be here?
I'm also happy to be here.
Awesome. How'd your week go?
It went all right. I mean, I'm still me, so, there's that. But I always have you to make it better.
Mr. Living Large over here. I'm still me. I like it. You see, you said it in a depressing way, and I put a positive spin on it because I'm a positive guy.
Right. I'm going to put that on your tombstone.
I'm a positive guy in quotes.
Yeah.
This is a podcast where me and this fella, we talk about what we do every week. It tends to involve video games and movies and anime on occasion. Yeah, so we're going to get started with my week. The internet decided to be dumb again this week, Meshi.
Fantastic.
So we at the twitch.tv/B_SKUM got treated with a emergency live update from the First Ascendant devs. Did you hear what happened, Meshi?
No, please tell me.
So Nexon had an investors meeting, and they had a big 50, 70 slideshow thing, and they kind of reviewed everything, like what's profitable, what are we making money on, what went wrong, what did we not make money on, where are we going in the future, all that kind of jazz, right? There's a single slide in these 70 things. There's no pictures. It's a single sentence. Be like, what didn't work? And it's like, oh, this game and the First Ascendant, strong starts didn't retain players. Started out strong, didn't retain the players. It didn't have the staying power to keep people coming back to the game. It didn't hook people, essentially, right? Because we fell off from started out at 200 and I think 80,000 or something on Steam or something. And now we're kind of hitting a daily Steam login of maybe 5,000 users a day or something. That's not including console and whatnot. And they're just like, oh, this isn't a problem that you can fix with a patch. It needs to be addressed at a game mechanic level to retool the game to keep new people coming to the game and keeping them there wanting to continue playing. That makes sense, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
It was it was 2 sentences at the most. Some guy wrote an entire article saying the Nexon's director has lost faith in the First Ascendant. And he typed up this long article about it, and the internet decided to freak out. I even had people coming into my Twitch chat linking the article saying is our game dying? What's happening? I just came back to the game. I'm scared. It's oh my fucking God. It ran rampant. And it wasn't even a great article. It was just kind of this guy was just kind of stirring the pot and taking one sentence out of context and kind of going off in hyperbole as people do on the internet, right?
Right.
So
you do.
the devs had an emergency like update, like they had a like they went live like the day after, be like, game's not dying. We got plans the end of the year. Apparently they plan on wrapping up the Corel storyline at the end of the year, and next year will be a new storyline that they're going to start. Um, they're going to introduce this onslaught mode, which is this is like the intro cinematic where you're going to see all the people you queue up with. You're going to see their descendant in their like WoW terms, their transmog, and you're going to have a Avengers Assemble moment before you go on a 10-part mission with a boss fight or a Colossus fight at the end of it. So that's going to be kind of their like new group content. So they're just showing kind of what that was going on with, and then they kind of it was like a last, they kind of slapped it together to they weren't going to say anything, and then they're like, well, the internet's freaking out in mass, so let's go ahead and like address the community. So they kind of just had a couple slides, and they didn't have like a lot to go off of. But I don't know. I just found it funny that the internet just freaked out and ran with this one article from, I don't even know what the news. You know what? I'm not even going to give that guy any plug or whatever. It wasn't like IGN or fucking anything. It was just some random asshole. But my game's not dying, Meshi.
That's really funny that they all thought it was good. Was though.
Yeah, they're like, so they announced like, hey, we're having a developer thing. We're gonna answer some questions and whatnot. People are retweeting it, being like, oh, this is gonna be the end of service announcement. This is it. It's over. And it's like, holy jeez. And then of course, every content creator is like, can you believe he lost faith in it? It's like it was like an investor slideshow, and it was one sentence. And then guess what? The retention rate wasn't what they wanted it to be, and they want to retool the game to keep people coming back and staying in the game. Oh my god, like
I mean, the internet, but aside, like at least they have the, at least they're willing to admit, like, hey, this is a problem. We're gonna try and fix it, rather than
yeah.
like doubling down and being like, release the booty pics. And
More.
more.
um yeah, they also mentioned I don't know how much validity to it there was, but they were toying around with the idea of a player controlling a Colossus in a game mode. They didn't have much to say on it. They're working on a couple different new modes or whatever that they mentioned, or ideas that they're kicking around of new content to add to the game. They're also adding a let's see. They're adding a challenge mode for the Colossus, so you can basically buff the boss and make it more and more difficult. And they're creating a leaderboard for that. So they're making the Colossus fights, and you can increasingly make them harder to get yourself higher on the leaderboard, because you're like, oh, I added all this stuff to the boss and made it that much harder than everybody else's fight. So that
I
could
like
be
that idea.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because a lot of people are like, oh, everything's dying immediately and falling over and whatnot. And that's part of the problem, and they did address that.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, that player controlled Colossus sounds cool, but I could just imagine just being like, I get to control, ah, and just dying in like a shot.
Yeah. So that's it. My game's still alive. We're fine. I'm sorry if I misspoke. I just meant the game launched and peaked upwards of 200K, and it didn't retain as many people from that initial download and first day play than whatever. So sorry if I misspoke. That's not my intention. Let's see. What else did I do with my week besides revel in the fact that my game's still alive. Oh, if you're a longtime listener of my podcast and Meshy's podcast, there's a game I bitched about. You know what game that was, Meshy?
There's been a lot of them.
You're right, Meshy. Mecha Break. This was a game that locked you out weekly from playing the single player, or not the single player, the co-op version of the game that's not PvP. Because there's this terrible trend that happened with video games that made everything PvEVP. They finally removed that restriction, Meshy. You can just play the game cooperatively and complete missions, and like earn cash op currency by selling stuff on the market and face like well, if you have 3 players, you can do the boss fights that are located in the missions. So been playing a little bit of this, considering there's not a restriction on playing it. And it's fun. I found a new sniper mech. There she is right there, that one. She's really cool. She can create multiple clones of herself and charge up her shots, and all the clones shoot the same shot. So you can have like multiple clones out, right? You cloak yourself, multiple clones, and aim at the person, charge it up to 300%, and shoot, and then there's like 4 sniper shots all hitting the same target. It's pretty cool. And here's like one of the big fat boss guys. So it's kind of fun. I know this is like 2 years later. I think this game came out in 2023 or maybe 2024. So yay. I'm single-handedly taking all of the credit for screaming at the internet like a few months ago that they decided to change the format of the game, so that way you can play with your friends and not have to worry about your mech exploding and losing your gear that you looted on previous mission, because there still is that roguelike element of yeah. Because so essentially what you can do is you can pick up good gear, right, Meshy?
Right.
You don't equip it and bring it to you on every mission. You have to get it dropped to you within the mission. So you have a base kit, and then you have like a pod that can drop to you, and you can put stuff in that pod. But if you happen to die while you have that stuff equipped to you from your pod, you lose it forever.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I'm still playing the game. We've only played like a few hours of it maybe, where I'm just using the base kit and I don't really need the extra stuff. So there's that. So I don't know.
You just hoarding it and be like, I'll use this later, and then just never do.
Yeah, well, it's just one of those things. There's a lot of loot because you can loot like Well, so you can. This is like mecha nerd fun where you can loot modules and like equip them to your thrusters. Be like, ooh, I have this much more energy to boost in the air, but my ground boosting goes down, or tweaking the knobs on their mechs. Or you can sell them on the marketplace for cash op currency. You're like, oh, I don't want to open this Gamba loot box on my mech modules. I just want to sell it on the marketplace and get cash op currency. And you could buy like dumb hats and stuff for your mecha pilots, or like paint or skins for your mech. So there's that.
Oh,
I'm kind of
cool.
Yeah, so I'm kind of hoarding stuff because I'm like, maybe I want to buy one of the previous mechs that you had to spend real money on, where I could just play this game with my friend and, just sell all the stuff on the marketplace and buy that for free. So that's cool. All right, and we'll get into the meat and potatoes of what I did this week. I finally went back. I've been streaming the First Ascendant a lot. When I got on a big conversation with V Roni about the game backlog, and I was like, you know what? I never went back to Ninja Gaiden 4 as soon as my save file got corrupted. So I've played 35 hours of this week.
35 hours.
Yeah. So I've beaten the game twice.
Oh, okay.
And I beat the DLC that came out. Let's start with the bad. This game might have the most egregious amount of yellow paint I have ever seen in a video game.
Okay.
The amount of player go this direction, please. It's it's kind of egregious. Especially in these Ghost in the Shell like city moments. Like it's pretty bad. um there's also some kind of wonky platforming stuff where if your camera is not angled the right way, you'll have to be like jumping from these like post to post, and then you have to wall run a section and jump to another wall to continue wall running. If your camera's not angled correctly, your ninja man will stop running and just fall to his death.
Oh, that's
So
shitty.
it's a little jank. So these moments where you're supposed to see these right here,
Yeah.
where he was like jumping to right there, you have to like jump from one to one. If your camera's not angled just right, he will just fall to his death and stop running. So there's a little bit of there's only like 2 sections that it really bothers me in. For the most part. Um, Other than that, I can kind of see why this game kind of filtered a lot of players at the beginning. There's a whole mechanic with the characters glowing, or the enemies. They'll glow this kind of like white with red eyes, and you have to hold down the left trigger to go to your blood jutsu mode and hit them to break their armor. Um, which is it's kind of fun, right? The problem is the first sword that you start with, the startup on going into the blood mode and doing your light attack is really long. So a lot of the time when you're trying to learn this mechanic, you have to know that they're going to go into the armor mode and preemptively do the strike to knock them out of anything. Otherwise, if you try to react in time, he won't be fast enough to hit them. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So, and on top of that, if you his like the new kid, Yakumo, his blood mode for his dual blades, you can actually charge up the moves also. So if you accidentally hold the light attack button for like just a couple frames, it'll be even slower than that.
Ooh. So it's got
um,
a massive learning curve for the starting weapon.
yeah, a little bit. And maybe that's just me. Because for the first like I want to say the first fourth of the game, maybe I was like, man, this is kind of different than most the other Ninja Gaiden games. And you can see the platinumisms there because this was made by Platinum. Um, you get a weapon around like mission 8 or 9, which is essentially like a ninja bag of tools that just sits on his back. And it's got these giant shurikens. It's got tonfas. It's got a flail. It's got all these different things, and it solves everything about his character. Because
Okay.
the blood attack mode on the light attack is lightning quick, and it hits from range. So you see him go to the mode, you're like, oh, let me just hit you out of it, and it works every time. um, so it fixes his whole character, and it's really nice. You finally get to play as Ryu around, I want to say, mission 15 out of 20. Meshi, the game was made for him completely. He feels so good in this game. He's like Virgil in DMC5 for me. It saved the whole game.
Wow.
Well, because a part of the problem is the new guy, Yakumo here. He's kind of like Dante in terms of he has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. He has 4 weapons on at all times, and the game kind of wants you to like cycle through all the weapons and kind of do like big long combos and whatnot.
Yeah.
And each weapon has its own move set and different moves that it does, and it's different combos. It's kind of a lot. And if you bought the DLC, I'll just mention this now. If you bought the DLC for the game, which includes a weapon for Ryu and a new weapon for Yakumo, you could use those in the base game also. So that adds another weapon on top of that. So it's kind of a lot with him. But Ryu, he just got the dragon sword. That's it. Or his new we'll look at his new weapon later on. But so Ryu feels amazing, and this game really is Devil May Cry 4, essentially. Because what happens is you play as Yakumo, the new kid, right?
Right.
You go through the game, going through the story, no spoilers or anything, and you kill these bosses, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have flashbacks, and then you play as Ryu, and you go back through and you kill the bosses essentially in reverse order. It's essentially the same thing as you playing as Nero in DMC4 and then playing as Dante and killing the same bosses. But everything just feels better on Ryu. So there's a lot of train section. There's like these train rails, right, where Yakumo like Tony Hawk like glides on them.
Yeah, the Tony Hawk grind. Yeah.
You want to know what Ryu does, Meshi?
Oh no, he either ninja runs down them or he like glider. He has like a glider or
He
something.
jumps on the rail and just starts running.
Yeah. Okay.
So Yakumo's like grinding and doing all this stuff, and he's just running. There's also these surfing sections where you're chasing like this demon shark thing. And Yakumo gets on essentially like it's not a surfboard. What are those little boards that you like throw on the beach where it's wet and you kind of like glide? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Not boogie boards. They're the whatever the.
But they're like
essentially-
wave boards, basically, kind of.
Yeah. So Yakumo has one of those. He'll throw on his ninja waveboard thing and he'll like surf and stuff. And you have to do like, they're pretty fun. You're kind of surfing and doing jumps and like avoiding things. You want to know what Ryu does, Meshi, for those sections?
Just runs on the fucking water.
He just runs. He just starts booking. I don't know. It's really satisfying, and there's a lot of good hits done. This game finally, like after I want to say like 4, it took me a while. 4 hours, it finally clicked because I stopped trying to play it like other Ninja Gaidens and kind of was like, okay, what is this game? And let me like accept her for who she is. And it really clicked. I had a lot of fun with this. There's these glory kill moments, quote unquote. They're called obliteration techniques or whatever. It's essentially like a glory kill. Like you dismember one of the mobs, and you can essentially like go up to it, press heavy attack, and you'll do a cool animation and like split them butt to tip, right?
Right, butt to tip.
So Yakumo, he uses blood jutsu and he makes his like sword like super long, or he makes a spiral sword into a giant drill. It's kind of what he's doing. He's using blood jutsu and doing all this cool stuff. So he says like edgy stuff, and he'll like cut something with this giant massive weapon, right?
Okay.
You could kill a boss and he'll do like 3 flips into like a giant like helm splitter with a sword the size of a building. You want to know what Ryu does, Meshi?
It just stabs him in the face.
So I mentioned the demon ninja, no, the demon shark.
Yeah.
So this shark is laying on its side, right? You beat the 2 life bars, and you're like, oh, I got to go do the glory kill on it. He stabs it in the back of the fin, and he just starts running, just cut it down the stomach.
It's just a lot of running, huh?
Yeah, but it's so satisfying. It's one of these things where like the new kid's really super flashy, and like Ryu does some really cool stuff. But it's just the dynamic is just so different because you have him saying like, "Shut your fucking mouth," and he's doing stuff, and Ryu's like, "Stab." um. So yeah, and so I really enjoyed this game. You come to a section where Meshi, you have to fight Ryu Hayabusa. You fight him twice in the story.
Okay.
I had my Virgil moment again because he's so cool. When how do I say this? How do I say this? Meshi, how do I say it?
He kicked your ass.
It was so cool.
Oh.
So the Ryu fight is so fucking awesome because you're essentially playing against the player version of the character. So there's a lot of like defensive mechanics in this game where you have like perfect parries and you can like do attacks, or you have a perfect dodge where you can like bullet time behind them into stuff, and there's a bunch of different like follow-ups and stuff. So it's very defensive mechanic heavy. So you're really like going back and forth with him where he'll perfect parry you into his follow-up. He Azuna dropped me on my head within 5 seconds and I died, and it was kind of awesome. He parried my attack, launched me, and said, "Ha!" and dropped me on my head, and I died, and it was the coolest moment. It was so awesome.
You know, there's not a lot of video games where you could be like, where dying and being defeated by the boss is like a cool moment where you're just like, oh, do it to me again.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, most of the time, like, oh, that was bullshit. It's like, that was really cool.
Why do
because
I do that?
Because you get to these moments where, like, you parry him, and then you go to parry attack him, and he'll parry you, and then he'll do his follow-up attack. So if you parry his retaliation, you get a launch, and you can Azuna drop him. So it's kind of solving his patterns and what he does.
Does
And
he
you
look
really,
at you and go, is that what I've been doing to people?
yes. And it does good damage. So the game is like telling you, no, you need to counter and then get your punish combo here. Otherwise, he'll start like perfect blocking and stopping your string. And it's just a really good back and forth moment where you really feeling like you're in the middle of a ninja fight. It's really awesome. Um, and then, so towards the end of the game, you have your big dumb monster fight, right?
Right, as you do.
As one does. Meshi, what's cooler than the big dumb monster fight?
Uh,
Talk to me,
either
Goose.
either being the big dumb monster in return, or him turning into a smaller monster that becomes like an intense like one-on-one sword fight.
You're damn right, Meshi. So, slight spoilers, but not really. Okay, Ninja Gaiden's like plots are paper thin. It's ninja story, do the ninja thing. All right. So you beat the big bad, which I won't spoil who it is. But I mean, whatever. Guess what happens, Meshi, when you beat the big bad?
He turns into smaller bad.
He turns into a smaller clone of you. You fight yourself in a cool demonic skin thing. So you have again
Ooh.
the one-on-one fight that's awesome, and he's using your whole move set and some cool magic stuff that makes it all cool and stuff. This
He's you,
game,
but better.
yeah, except I beat him twice on
Oh,
normal and hard. um, this game ends on such a nice, just high. Like Platinum knows how to. A lot of Platinum games go to space. This one doesn't go to space, but you have this wonderful ascension moment of. Have you seen the wall jumping where you're jumping off of wall to wall?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Meshi, leading up to the final fight, you start wall jumping and the camera starts pulling back, and you're jumping between these skyscrapers, and you're pulling back into this gorgeous fucking shot, and you keep wall jumping and you're going higher into the sky to fight the big. It's so awesome.
Oh, he,
So
he just keeps going.
it keeps going, Meshi. It keeps going. So this game was really fun. Um, There's a little bit of a learning curve even for someone like me. But once it clicked, it really clicked. Um,
So I'm
and
kind of
then
glad because I know you were really worried about not being Ryu Hayabusa.
yeah, and honestly, that's kind of the biggest drawback is you play through like the first 3/4 of the game as Yakumo, and then you get to play as Ryu for like a fourth of the game. But once you beat the game, you can play the entire game as Ryu from the start.
Oh, okay, it's a nice little reward.
Yeah. Even though on my second playthrough, I still played as Yakumo at the beginning and jumped to Ryu at the end. Um, but I'm probably gonna do like I'll probably tackle the master difficulty with Ryu alone because his toolkit it's not as bloated and it just works. It's so effective. Like it feels like the game was built for him, and then they were like, all right, let's make the new kid and let's do all of our platinum stuff and have fun with him. But Ryu still feels like Ryu, so you got the scum seal of approval. Because I was worried, I was like, it's not gonna feel the same. I'm like, oh, it feels good. So I also played the $15 DLC called Tube Masters. So this how do you feel about muscular demon fiend ladies?
You know how I feel about muscular anything. Continue.
Okay, so weird boner. Not for you, for me.
Oh, I was like, it's
I,
never been weird, baby.
it's you know. Okay, so this $15 DLC added the scythe weapon for Yakumo and added these cool like dragon gauntlets for Ryu that essentially have long chains that like shoots out like a chain blade and you could like pull people in. I'm sure it'll show it at some point in this. There's some new sub bosses, and you fight the remnants of the Black Spider Clan. Here's the cool dragon gauntlet things with the chain blades. Both these weapons feel really fun. Um,
That
so
looks
there's
really
three
cool.
missions in total. One you play as Yakumo, and one you play as Ryu, and then the third one you play as Yakumo, I believe. Yeah. Um, and then they also add a essentially a bloody palace to the game. I think it's 100 floors of like challenge of increasingly harder things for this DLC. A lot of people were saying it was overpriced for what it is. Um, I enjoyed it. It only took me probably about maybe 2 hours, but the last boss fights were really satisfying. So, do you see the new story content right there, Meshi?
Yes, I do.
That's the boss lady who splits herself into two different versions.
Whoa, there's two of them?
Yeah, well, one of them's kind of weird. It's a weirder boner because she's like an amputee. She doesn't have arms. The one on the right,
I see.
but she has a really cool three kick move where she's got a 3-part like kick thing where she does like oro with her feet, and then she does a delayed heavy kick. It's really cool.
Okay.
So one of them you fight as the one without arms. You fight as Yakumo. The one with two hammers and arms you fight as Ryu. And then when you fight them, when you go to the third mission, she combines again, and you have to fight her. Essentially, both move kits in one with Yakumo, so it's really cool. It's like a culmination of like everything you learned, and I thought it was kind of a clever way to like reuse move sets.
Yeah.
And she's harder. It was kind of challenge. It took me, I think, like 3 or 4 attempts on normal. Um, so I mean, I enjoyed it, and I'm gonna be like replaying it. I feel as though if you're coming from the standpoint of like you only play things once and you move on, I can see why this would be kind of eh. Um, but I'm the kind of guy when I play these types of games, I'm gonna play it through multiple times. Um, and the new weapons you can use in the base game, like I mentioned earlier. Um, so I'm gonna get hours and hours of gameplay out of this, especially that Abyssal Road Challenge mode. Like that's just Bloody Palace. That's just Virgil all over again for me, Meshi. So
Yeah. I mean, these games seem to be built with, you playing it over and over and over again in mind, rather than
Yeah,
people being a one and doneer.
yeah, and I think that's what really hurts them for because that's kind of the cycle, right? It's like the first playthrough is essentially your tutorial. You're learning how to play the game with your first playthrough. But a lot of people, I think 30% of the people beat this game that bought it on Steam, which I think that's kind of an average completion rate. But that's on any difficulty. Like, I was just looking at the achievements on it, and I was like, only 30% of people beat this. I mean, it's not a super long game. It's maybe like 10, 20 hours, maybe if you're like really stretching it. Um, but no, I really enjoyed this. At some point, I might actually record and do a playthrough. I kind of wanted to sit down and be like, all right, let me figure this out and see if I like it, and I did. It was really awesome. So big approval from Scum. I enjoyed Ninja Gaiden 4 and its DLC. So Meshi, you played some new video games this week.
No, I didn't.
So tell me about WoW. What happened this week? What'd you do?
um, I am just continuing the endless loop of the same content, but slightly harder or slightly easier every week because I get better gear, I suppose. Um, it's holding my attention for right now, but I don't know how. They just finished they started with 3 raids.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't start with 3 raids. They started with 2, and then they kind of had like a story week, and then they released the final like mini one. So they had 2 mini ones and one like big one.
Okay.
So that's all out now. The story for now is finished. Well, not finished, but waiting for the
This
next
section of the
update.
story's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so, and I've kind of hitting that point where I've gotten the gear that, not that I want, but like is good enough that I could do any content with. So
Yeah.
it's basically at that point where I'm like now like, okay, I need to decide what I'm going to do next, because if I don't figure it out, I'm gonna stop until the next content season. Um,
Yeah.
so
Let me ask you something.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Has your alt RNG improved at all?
No, no, it has not.
I thought you could be like, yeah, finally, I got those fucking like 4 or 5 necklaces in a row. But this
No.
week, okay.
Like, so they do the vault where you do,
Mhm.
as you do activities, you get a chance to pick one piece of loot from, based on how many activities you do during the week and how difficult they are, from a pool. And like the pool I got this week was just like, yeah, that's the obvious choice. Every other one of these is garbage. And even then my best choice was just like a 3 item level upgrade of something I already had. So I was just like,
Literal.
oh, why? um,
Damn.
so it hasn't improved, but I still do the damage I need to. So I'm not, I don't hate it. I hate it, the fact that I'm like, it feels just like wasted gear and not wasted time, but wasted opportunity to get something good. And but that's WoW. Been WoW forever.
Yeah, you would just like to feel like maybe a little more powerful or feel like getting that nice upgrade. Be like, oh, thank God this week went a little better. But it's like,
Yeah. I mean, it's basically now at the point where like it's small percentage increases, so like 0.5 or 0.3 or 0.4.
mm,
Um so that's why I'm kind of like, oh, I'm plateauing out, and now it's just kind of like, what's the most small percentage increases I could make?
yeah. So have you gotten most of your gear through just doing Mythic Dungeons, Mythic
Yeah, Mythic
Plus?
Dungeons, and all of like the delves and stuff like that. Um,
Are
so
those delivering in the way? Because those are the single player things that you were talking about a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So, um, for the most part, they are. I think they're better than they were the last expansion in
Hmm.
terms of just kind of like variety, because each delve has like a 2 to 3 variations that it cycles through.
Yeah.
So it'll be like different mobs, a different gimmick. So like one is like, oh, the gravity is turned off and you could fly and you have to go to these points to collect these things. Or here's some grenades. There's plants running around. Go blow them up for us. That kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it changes, and they released like two or three new ones since the start, which they're at least trying to pump out content um regularly, but I think that's probably going to slow down now. But I did try another hand at the housing stuff. I made a house that I was satisfied with.
Did you get me a screenshot, Meshi?
No, I didn't. I forgot. Um
Next week.
yeah, next week I'll get you a screenshot of my lonely house with a chair in front of the fireplace.
It's a nice chair, okay?
It's a bachelor pad for one. There's a yogurt in the fridge. But like, oh man, like the housing thing, like I was playing with it, like if I was just super into like The Sims, or like pick doing the perfect room I could possibly do, like there's so much you could do with it. Like I'm amazed it's like as advanced as it is. Like I know some architect nerd is like having a boner over this feature.
I'm just curious about that, right? Because a lot of people talk about like housing in like MMOs and like that kind of thing. I'm just curious as to like what percentage of the player base is really engaging with that type of content. Because I know for me, I do not care, Meshi. They call it the Goon Cave in First Descendant, where you go to the right and you can pose all of your descendants and you can essentially talk to them or sit down with them and whatnot, and you
Yeah.
customize the rooms and the dioramas and whatnot. I haven't even touched it. You can visit other people's goon caves and react to and like leave reactions to get like currency in game to look how do you have your people dressed up and posed and done and whatnot. Um I just
With the
found it out. I didn't know how to enter, and people are like, "Oh, go to the left, that door. You can go to other people's things." And I'm like, "You could just walk into other people's descendant rooms."
I would
All
not want to
right.
go into anyone else's goon cave.
And then I walked into one of my viewers' thing. I was like, "Why is Eugen in the bedroom?"
Mind your business, that's why.
And then I got lost. I couldn't find the exit. It was all embarrassing. So I just wonder like how much, because I even saw like World of Warcraft had like a Zillow collaboration with this.
Yeah, the Zillow, Pinterest, um, they kind of
Push you with this
play.
arcade.
Okay. They're really trying to like get people to like post their houses and stuff. I haven't really followed it that much, so I don't know. Like I know there's some really fucking cool ones that people
Well,
have done.
isn't there like you can make like obstacle courses and stuff also?
Oh yeah, yeah, you could totally just like make your house into a giant jumping puzzle if you wanted to.
Yeah, because I saw some streamer he was playing, and this guy's like, "Hey, come do my challenge house thing or whatever," and like it's a whole obstacle jumping course thing, kind of like
Make
a
it
la FF14.
yeah,
Steal from those who create the fun stuff.
make it into a saw house. I want to play a game. I am playing a game. No, I want you to play my game.
In my game. Um, what else was it? And I also heard that there's like neighborhood achievements that you can work towards for like in-game reward or something.
Yeah. So you could get like it's just more like housing stuff you could put in your house. It won't.
But what kind of stuff do you have to do in your friendly neighborhood of Warcraft? to like what?
So it's different. There's like solve the daily riddle, like where it tells you like a location in the in the zone that you're in. You just kind of try and find it. There's like, oh, go rescue these pets. Go. There's like fences you could go and fix up that are around the place. The local groomer, neighborhood watcher, tickle. Yeah, there's stuff
Paladin
like
Hansen here.
that. I want you to take a righteous seat over there.
I was just
Um,
curious what kind of like tasks you had to do to like get that stuff, or
yeah, it's not
because
like annoying. It's supposed to just kind of be like goofy, simple, kind of like relaxing kind of tasks rather than like go murder 30 pigeons for me. I need another pillow.
and let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that the tone of the game, for the most part, has gone too happy-go-lucky?
Hmm. In
Do you think it
some in
clashes a
some
little
as
bit?
kind of sort of, it depends. Like the main story, they're trying to be more, I guess the word would be edgy. Um
Serious Warcraft's always been dumb war. It's just like
yeah.
terrible. People are dying horribly, and now it's like I just saw a bunch of posts kind of like comparing old and new, and I know things change, and Warcraft's been around for a really long time. It was a kind of funny, the idea of I was looking at one of the recent like trailers of me like, oh, I'm happy to move into my new place and fix up my house, and it's like, remember when orcs were like smashing human soldiers and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I was curious how you felt about the tonal shift of where it's gone.
Yeah, the problem is that I've kind of hit that point where like I don't really care. I just I just need something to occupy my attention.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Because
I
it's been
just
going on for so long that it's not it's like it's yeah, it's just that I've kind of lost interest in caring because it's been going on for so long. Like eventually you may lose interest in those butt cheeks on your screen, but it'll take, 10 to 15 years.
gonna take a
Maybe.
lot longer than that, baby. They got me hooked in like a tractor beam meshing. Yeah, it's really funny. The dynamic is just like I really am a what do the kids on the internet call it?
A gooner?
No, no, not that. I'm a
Oh, oh,
classic Andy when it comes to WoW, and I'm fond of Warcraft 3 and like old Warcraft, and you're a Wrath baby, and you don't really care anymore because you've been playing modern WoW for so long. We're just different sides of the, whatever. You don't want to play a paladin where you auto attack for 99% of your gameplay, and I get it. I understand.
I tried that once.
Should have played Horde and just played a shaman. I don't know what this alliance nonsense all about. It's fine.
Is it?
Tomato. Tomatoes,
That's
tomatoes.
judgy.
All right. Well, there's our Warcraft update. I give the First Ascendant update. Meshi gives the Warcraft update. I like to keep tabs on it because I was highly addicted when I was in 6th grade raiding in vanilla World of Warcraft. It was kind of a problem. They got their teeth in me real.
Real young.
I was trying to avoid that because it sounded bad.
Yeah.
But
I'll
you just
say it
stepped on the
for you.
landmine for me,
Yeah.
so that's okay.
I'll take this one, scum. 9.
It's micronated. You can't have it.
We can both share it. It's big enough.
So you play a little bit of a game you mentioned last week called Grounded.
Yeah.
You have an update for us, Meshy. What happened?
Yes, I've continued to play it. It took. I probably wasn't having kind of the experience I wanted to out of the game last week, but now I've kind of played it a bit more and I've explored it a bit more, and I finally found like a build that I like. And I've kind of gotten into it a bit more, and having explored the map almost in its entirety, like the 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 love that they have put into this game is like amazing in terms of just like the scale of everything. Like, and like the level design, and there's just like there's so many like small nooks and crannies where things are hidden. There's
Mhm.
there's like because the story is like you're a kid and you get shrunk down, honey I
Mhm.
shrunk the kid style.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you get put into this yard, and as you kind of go along, you learn that there's other kids that have kind of done the same had the same thing done to them, and they've gone through this, and so you'll find evidence of them. You'll find like camps or whatnot, and then suddenly you go in there and there's like a skeleton of a kid in front of a fucking giant spider, and you're like, oh, you poor
Oh,
bastard.
it's like Mr. Incredible finding who was it, Quasar down in the
In that cave, yeah.
yeah.
Or you'll like find like a nook and cranny, and there'll be like like cult style ant heads on sticks, and like a weird effigy taxidermy style, like just in this
Yeah.
crevice, and you're like, which one of you fucked up kids did this?
Which one of you did this?
And it's just kind of overall, it's just kind of a little fun little farm build game. um and the
Like
level's
a
good.
child Lawrence Fishburne for Predators.
Oh, yeah, it's basically that. Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, go on.
And there's bosses to fight. They're really, they're really interesting, and they have different weaknesses and whatnot. And but like when you're fighting them, because there's like block and parry mechanics, so the parrying is very satisfying. And but like every time that you fight a boss in like a group, I just think about the scene from Shaun of the Dead, when they go into the bar and they're spinning around the guy and they're trying to kill him while the music
Having
is
such a
playing.
good time,
It's
having a ball.
basically that every time. It's just four kids spinning in a circle, whacking the boss until it's dead, and um, but no, it's really neat. And they put a lot of love and time into it, and I know it was in early access for quite a while, and I could kind of see that they just kept adding to it and making it better as they go on. And I'm looking forward to Grounded 2, whenever that's
Is that
finished.
out? Or is it not out
It
yet?
is out in early access, but it isn't
Oh,
finished.
you want to wait for it to finish. Got it.
Yeah.
So I watched a long video essay on this guy who essentially wanted to use a throw build, which essentially you like make spears in the game and you have to throw them. The damage trade off with having to retrieve the spears, or sometimes you just lose them. So he went down that rabbit hole and tried to essentially submit feedback in a video essay format to describe the pros and cons of the quote unquote throwing, like javelin esque build that he wanted to do and what you could change to fix it. What build have you settled on for Grounded?
So I initially was going to do kind of like bows and arrow build. Everyone else was
Yeah.
going like tank or whatever, and I just kind of was like, hey, you know what, whatever. I'll stand back and I'll shoot the thing, and I was having fun with that. And
Yeah.
then I don't know, like 10 or 15 hours into the game or however long it's been, we were walking past a giant coal bag, and my friend was like, oh yeah, and there's like an event that you do and you get this weapon. And I was like, well, what weapon? And he was like, well, go see. And I went in there, and in this charcoal was a fucking katana.
And Meshi did the fucking anime fucking glasses push up.
Yes, that is exactly what happened. It is called a spicy coal tana, and it looks so cool. Because everything else is like bug parts or whatnot, and the coal tana is actually like a piece of metal. Um, and it just looks cool, and it's got red sparks coming off of it because it's like superheated metal constantly. It does fire damage, and I was like, this is it. This is my build. I am going to embrace my weeb so hard, and I have protected my lady's honor every step of the way.
Meshi said, "I will protect her honor."
Yes, I have.
I guess, do you find it like in fire or whatever? I see this
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
squatting
So
next to
it's
it.
on a lit coal, and then you
Yeah,
touch it, and it activates like a wave thing, and you have to
yeah.
defeat the waves to unlock the weapon.
Ah, I see. Coltana, that's cute, and it's a fucking like pun.
Yeah, it just
They
had
could.
everything I needed.
It's a katana and it's a pun. It's Meshi.
Yes, I love a good pun.
All right, I think that does it for all the video games we played this week. It was pretty much just 35 hours of Ninja Gaiden 4, and
That's still a lot of time. I'm
yeah.
amazed.
Well, it's one of these things where I've had, well, with Easter and whatnot, I've had a lot of days. I've got like additional days off, so it's been like 3 days, and I'm like, where did my time go? Oh. You know, because I feel like I'm going fast, and I am, but it's still 20 chapters that I've played through twice in increasing difficulty. So, all right. It's, I didn't mention it, but it's really great. So, there's this thing called the guillotine throw, Meshi,
Yeah.
where you ninja, like you jump and you flip in the air like a ninja ball, right?
Okay.
You can so essentially press two buttons and you do this ninja ball roll jump. You press it again and you do a air command grab where you grab the enemy, you spin over them, over their shoulders, and then you use your momentum to hurl them over. Does that make sense? You flip
Yeah.
over them, grabbing their shoulders, and throw them.
Yeah, I'm following you.
If you get a perfect wall splat, one of their limbs will just fucking explode. So
Oh,
you just dash up and get the instant kill. There's a certain section of the game where you fight these cyber samurai guys who look really cool. They're called the DDO, like the Divine Dragon Organization.
okay.
They have an infinity tower. So these giant rooms with giant pits that go down forever. I think you see where this is going.
Uh-huh.
I'm hurling cyber samurais into the abyss. Meshi, the most satisfying thing to do when you literally cut a guy's legs off and hurl him into the endless void and he says, "My legs!" And it's got audio that it fades out. It's amazing. And my other favorite thing to do is when you throw them over the edge, over the guardrail, and as they're falling, you use the ninja bag weapon and you throw out giant shurikens. And you cut off one of their limbs before they fall. They stop mid-air getting hit like, just one last fuck you before they fall. Oh my god, I love that game.
I'm glad that you love that game. I'm glad
Oh,
that it would turn out to be a good game rather than just one that was like just shit.
yeah, because it's one of those things where it's like, oh no, Team Ninja's not making it. Is it going to feel like Ninja Gaiden? And at first, it kind of doesn't because the new kid plays a lot differently. Because I feel like a dirty slut, Meshi. Because normally you launch somebody with Ryu, you launch them in the air, you go slash 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 Azuna drop. That's the classic combo. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's XY XXXY. That's the staple. The kid can launch you and like do like XXY swap to the other weapon, XXY go to the third weapon, XX something whatever. If like it's flying swallow shuriken, go to the other weapon, and then like all this extra stuff. It's kind of fun. But I feel like a dirty whore doing it. Normally I do like 1 or 2 weapon swaps and I'm like, okay, that's enough. We're Izuna dropping you now. I'll launch you up with the blades, I'll hit you stuff, I'll swap to the staff, and then I'll fucking like hit you in the face with the staff, and then I'll Azuna drop you. It's the little things,
Yeah, it's just the little things.
Maybe this is how like the older generation feels. Like missionaries enough.
Missionary is not enough. There's so many more positions. Think of all the activities.
There's a wall that lady could throw me through.
Oh my god. Don't even get me started.
All right, well, let's get you off of that. You watched a movie. Pause. Hold on. I didn't come out right. God damn it.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Yeah, I did. I fucking Captain America. I jumped on that grenade. Get back.
I'll do it for you.
Oh. All right. So you watched a movie, Meshi,
Yes, I did.
called Cold Storage, starring the asshole from Stranger Things. He was pretty funny. I liked him. And
Yeah, and Liam Neeson.
so what's this movie about, Meshi? Break it down for me.
So this movie is essentially about a space station that blew up over Earth. I guess it makes sense that it's a space station. Of course, it blew up over Earth. And all this material came, falling into the atmosphere, and everyone believed that it blew, vaporized on impact. And one of the modules landed in an Australian town. And in that module, they had a fungus that they brought up into space. And it's that fungus that takes over ants or like smaller critters and like infects their brains, and it makes them go like really high up, and then they explode or they get eaten, and then they spread that way, right?
Gotcha.
Well, basically, going up into space and then going through the reentry process like mutates it so that it can infect humans, winds up in this Australian town, wipes out this small town. And so Liam Neeson and a couple other people go to this town to investigate this thing, and he's like a bioterrorist, like anti-guy. He handles all of that stuff. The doctor that's there that goes to help them, they're in hazmat suits, which is like, I can't believe they're in hazmat suits. Like that's my standard of movie right now, is like, are these people smart enough to wear hazmat suits or protection? Because there's so many movies where they're just like, the dumbest shit happens because they're not, oh, there's an infectious disease, let me just touch it with no gloved hands or whatever,
Yeah, but Prometheus, let me take off my helmet.
Yeah, let me take off my helmet in this alien world. Let me not wear this helmet in this alien world. So it was kind of refreshing, but it still manages to invade her suit. Like, it eats through her boots, unknowing to her, and she becomes super infected by it. And Liam Neeson sees this, and she gets into the car and fucking just rams into the back of Liam Neeson and like takes him out. So he's just crippled on the ground. This is the first 5 minutes of the opening movie, by the way. He's just a cripple on the ground. He's like, I can't move my arms and legs. I can't move. And like the other person that he's with, she's like being attacked by the infected person. And he's screaming at her like, you have to kill her! You have to kill her! I can't feel my arms and legs! I can't help you! and then basically, like, the infected woman grabs the gun, and she has like one moment of clarity and then kills herself in front of him. And then it basically cuts to like a montage of them phosphorus napalm bombing this Australian outback and securing like one sample of the fungus, and then they seal it into cold storage. Miles underground. It's cooled by this underground spring so that
Mhm.
it can't basically grow out of control. Years passed, like I think it's like 30 something years, and the military bunker that it was, they seal up the floor where the fungus is, and then they sell it to basically a storage place, like where you go and store your whatever shit, your extra bullshit and whatnot. They're storage
Mhm.
units. Um, and basically that's where you meet your main characters. Asshole from Stranger Things, who's like, he's not really a hippie, but you can tell he's kind of an idiot, but he's not like a super idiot. He's just gullible. He's a very gullible person.
Yeah.
And you meet the love interest lady who has a kid with somebody else, but she hates him and he hates her, and so they have to get together. The
Mhm.
stereotypical type of that. And basically, they're just trying to find this beeping noise that's going off, and basically the beeping noise is an alarm. And Liam Neeson gets a call in the middle of the night at like 2 a.m. and the lady on the other line's like, "I'm calling about my Swiffer duster," and he's like, "Give me 2 hours." And his wife rolls over and she's like, "Who was that?" He's like, "That's my other wife." He's like, "Ha, you're so how do you how do you find time to be funny at 2 a.m.?" And he's just like rolls out of bed and leaves. um it Man, when I first saw Liam Neeson in this movie, all I could think about was him playing the guy from what's that movie that was the comedy movie that we just watched? Loaded Gun
Naked
or
Gun.
Naked Gun. Like I just thought he was that guy, and I was waiting for the stupidity to unfold.
Yeah.
The entire movie, it's just um. So basically, the military has given up on this. They just think it's a hoax. The main guy that's now in charge, and Liam Neeson convinces the person that called him to help him. Is like, "Hey, this is national security. You need to read the document that tells you what's up with this fungus." And so the movie is Liam Neeson spends an hour in movie time. He actually
Mhm.
spends like several hours trying to get to the fungus place. Like Liam Neeson doesn't even show up. He's there in the movie, but he doesn't actually show up until like the last like 20 minutes of the movie. Uh,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's just those two dealing with the fungus, and it's it's not a great movie, but there's a lot of like cool scenes in it. Like the fungus is just like it's brutal. Like it takes you over in an instant. You just vomit puke everywhere. You're kind of a zombie, but you're not like a brain dead zombie. Like the fungus is just like giving you basic commands, and you have to
Yeah,
follow
more
it. So
like
it's like,
what was that one movie? The Crazies or whatever?
yeah, kind of like that.
Kind of like that.
Where it just wants to find people and spread. And
Brad.
like one guy, like he the boyfriend that he's just there so that you could have someone die. He
Yeah.
shot their cat, and he's he's calling up his girlfriend because she's trying to be a vet, and he's like calling her, and eventually he's like, "I'm just coming to your work," and he's acting like there's a dead body in his back, and that's what you like. Oh, he's killed somebody. There's someone in his back seat or
Yeah.
whatever.
Uh-huh.
And he opens. He's like, "I shot the cat." And he's like, "What do you mean you shot the cat?" It's like, I didn't know the gun was loaded, and I just shot the cat, and like half of its head is missing, and basically it gets infected by the mold, and then it
Mhm.
just like jumps onto his face and then just vomits
Oh.
into it
Yeah.
into his mouth. Like there's so much like projectile vomiting that goes on, or like people that just like, "I don't feel so good,"
I'm
and then they just
good.
explode, and there's just corpse goop all over the place. It's great. Like there's a scene where the asshole boss brings in like a bunch of bikers because he sells TVs he stole out of one of the units, and they're like they're in the unit,
Mhm.
and like one of the infected guys rolls over, and they stare at this guy because he looks, super fungusy and he's falling apart. They're like, dude, what the fuck's up with you? And he just goes, "Bleh," and just vomits on all three of them and then slams the door shut and locks it. And so they're like, what the fuck was up with um but the highlight of the movie is Liam Neeson keeps talking about, and he's like, I need this item. I need item number 7. That's the most important item on this list that I need. But he doesn't tell you what it is. So he goes to his old partner's house because he meets up with her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I have it. We're gonna go get it." He's like, "Oh, perfect." So he goes into this house, and it's in somebody's basement, and he's like, "Whose basement is this?" "Oh, it's my son." He's like, Your son's?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like, "You've been keeping this in your son's basement." I'm thinking it's like a flamethrower, right?
Mhm.
And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Aren't you worried about the kids?" He's like, "The kids don't know how to activate this." And she pulls out what I could only assume is like 50 or 50 to 100 pounds. It's a giant metal canister that's fucking gigantic. Like it's like 2 oil barrels wide. And she puts it
Okay.
onto Liam Neeson's back. And she's like, "Can your back take it?" And he's like, "We're gonna find out." And he's lugging this giant backpack up the stairs. And he eventually gets to the place, and he unloads it onto the 2 other main characters. He meets up with them. He's like, "You're gonna go in there and you're gonna plant this thing underground." He's like, "Why? Why would we do that?" It's like, "Because I can't let this fungus spread." And he's like, it's got a 15-minute timer, give or take. Sometimes it malfunctions and you get a little bit more time, and other times it doesn't, it doesn't work right, and it'll blow up instantly. And they're like, "What?" And he's like, "Look,
Huh.
you either take this bomb down there, or you're gonna have to stand outside while I do it, and you're gonna have to kill anyone that walks through this door because he can't let the fungus spread." So they're like, "Okay, we'll do it." So they strap on the backpack, and Liam Neeson turns the timer on, basically tricks them into taking the bomb down. And he's outside with a gun shooting the people that tried to leave. And at one point, the person that he's been talking to on the saddle is like, "Oh, on the satellite," he's like, "There's somebody behind you." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "More to your left." And he twists, and he spins too fast, and you just hear him go, "Ah!" And he fucking collapses onto the ground, and he's just crippled on the floor for like 15 minutes. That's it. He's just in the parking lot, paralyzed.
Oh shit, that's funny.
Um, but overall, it's not a great movie, but it's one of those like just kind of like turn it on, turn your brain off, funny movies. And plus, it has a really cool nuke that goes off. It just
Ooh.
implodes under the earth, and you just see it massively turn into a sinkhole. It's really cool scene. If you're looking for a dumb movie, I highly recommend.
Highly recommend. Okay, well, and now I'm kind of actually interested just to watch Liam be an old man with a bad back. I think that's a recipe for success, if we're being honest. I don't think it gets honestly much better than that. Um, we're gonna hop into something I watched this week. Um, so I did it. I finished all 24 episodes that are out right now of Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider. Um, this show is literally perfect. I was talking with it about it on stream because I was curious because I mentioned that I got done watching it. And it's one of those moments where in your life where you finish watching something that's peak and then you kind of have that empty feeling in your like chest of like, well, now what am I going to do? Because nothing else can replace the thing that I just watched because I'm going to find other peak. But will anything measure up to it? I felt that way after reading Berserk. Like, what am I going to do now?
Right.
So I was on the stream and I was curious, like, someone said, "Oh yeah, I couldn't get into it." And I was like, "I'm curious. Like, do you, because I want to know an outside perspective. Do you care at all about Kamen Rider? Like, is this me looking through the rose tinted Kamen Rider mask at this thing and just loving it?" And it's kind of the case because it's a lot of fan servicey stuff. But I loved it and where it went. I'd highly recommend watching this show. If you don't watch Kamen Rider, I think you should watch it with someone who does, and maybe you'll get like not the annoying guy who's like looking at you, looking at the screen, but maybe just to enjoy it with. I hope there's more of this. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to read the manga.
And there has to be more, right?
I hope so. Oh God, I hope so.
It because I've watched it too. I've finished it.
Oh, you finished it also. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it's very rare that I'm actually satisfied with like an anime season ending, if that makes sense. Like with a final episode. Like I felt this final episode was like actually a good way to end the season.
Actually, because you get a nice ending moment, but it also is a jump off point for something else to happen, but you get the satisfying conclusion of Kamen Rider fighting Batman. It's one of his one of the first villains he ever fights, like in multiple series. This is kind of how it goes. The Bat Space Man is, and I like him in this show because he's a sleazy producer manager guy.
Yeah.
He's essentially like, he's turned shocker combatant girls into J-pop stars and flaunting them around Japan and, infecting a bunch of guys into shocker combatants by having them come to these concerts and get bitten by his shocker girls. It's kind of awesome because he's such a sleaze bag. I kind of enjoyed. There's a subplot, right, with the fat idol girl who comes across Spider-Man, and then her essential like ex, which is just grown-up Yu Narukami from Persona 4, who's this karate man. To try to fight for her affection and stuff, and he's just like, I just do karate really good because I'm trying to compete with ramen to fucking win this fat girl's heart.
Oh man, like until he busted out that until he busted out that karate and just started beating the shit out of that guy.
Spider-Man's like,
what the fuck just hit me? I was like, oh, you just turned into a really cool character.
he's a chubby chaser with a dream, Meshi.
Yeah, he is.
But the final fight, you just get so, man. Oh my God, Meshi. Okay, so the shocker combatant guy, the Yakuza dude, goes off to train with Tojima in V3. When he gets the 44 Magnum punch and punches the fucking rooster. I looked at that and I was like, oh my fucking God, it's just Meshi. And then he goes to confess to the giant muscle lady combatant. I was like, oh my fucking God, it's just Meshi.
Wait, I get the muscular lady, but why is it me when I punch the rooster?
Because you're fighting this fucking rooster and you come up with some dumb name for a move, and he's like, what's the coolest thing I do? Well, I'm a Yakuza man, and what's a cool gun? The 44 Magnum, and I'm gonna name it the 44 Magnum Punch.
You know what? I can see it now. Yeah.
Flex bow, 44 Megan. Then he's getting the shit kicked out of him, and he's just like, I love you. And she's like, I'm gonna keep this short. You're too old, it's never gonna happen.
The worst you could say is no.
No.
Ew.
Oh my god. And then he's getting suplexed at the end, and he's just happy. Like, at the arena when he's in the.
Oh yeah.
Oh, oh god, it made me giggle. And it was a nice, satisfying, just Tojiba just kind of, stepping up and just having that moment of like, okay, this is where I'm going to do it. And he does it. He has a cool rider kick, and it's kind of awesome. I love when he started rider punching Batman, and he was like, punch, punch, punch. And Batman's like, what the fuck is happening? As this grown 40-year-old man is beating the shit out of him. Oh.
It was good. I loved it.
So I couldn't recommend it more. It's just a feel-good, enjoyable anime, and I needed that pick-me-up after Kamen Rider Sky Rider kind of let me down, because this anime is essentially the recipe for why Kamen Rider is enjoyable and endearing. Meshi. It's so on the nose. The reason Kamen Rider is so endearing is it's not about the mask, Meshi. But it's about the man who steps up to put on the mask, and him willing to stand against, complete adversity and overwhelming odds. It's so goddamn endearing. And this anime is literally like, oh, let's just make an anime about that notion. And oh man, beautiful, crisp. Okay, where are we going now? So you had a Kamen Rider moment, Meshi, and you watched something called Monstrum.
Yeah, I did.
What's this? What is this film?
So I was looking for monster movies to watch, creature films, whatnot. I did, and this popped up. I didn't know if it actually had a creature in it. It just was in the list, and I was like, you know what? Scum is always watching Asian movies, and he says they're good. I'll try one. So the most of this movie is them trying to make you believe the monster isn't real. Like initially it's like, ooh, is there a monster? And the rest of the movie is like, maybe there is no monster, it's fake, it's made up. And then the ending 20 minutes is, well, actually no, it's like 30 to 45, I think, actually, is that the monster is real. Because it's one of those typical, I don't know if they're called lords or whatever, like whoever the leader is, right?
Yeah.
And like his prime minister is basically like trying to overthrow him. We've watched a lot of Asian movies or series where like his cabinet is secretly against him and plotting against him.
Yes.
To overthrow him. It's basically one of those movies. So he thinks that the prime minister has made up this monster, which is causing this huge famine and this plague that's going on, to basically get the people riled up to overthrow him. So he brings in his old general that hasn't been around for years, who helped put him on the throne originally, and then he kind of left when he figured out that they were killing people that weren't actually infected with the plague, that the plague was just a lie to overthrow the other guy, the previous guy.
Yeah.
So he was the only one with a moral conscience and just kind of left. So he recruits that guy to find out if the guy is real or whatnot. And then the basically the story is him going around to all of like the places where the monster has been. And then you get like details of being like, of him going like, yeah, this weapon, this is clearly been cut with a rope, or this rope has been clearly cut with a weapon. He pulls out like bodies that have been dismembered. He's like, this weapon is like those those ninja claw things, and
Mhm.
all these other things, like he's explaining to him, and he's like, so, and the king is like, so Monstrum is not real, and he's like, no, it is real. You're like, wait, what? He's like,
Huh?
he's like, he says there is somebody that a man is behind it, but like the peasants all believe that the monster is real, so he's real, kind of thing.
Yeah, they've
Um,
manifested him. Yeah.
yeah. So, um, basically, it then devolves into like the plot of the prime minister taking over for the country. He tricks the king into having him allowed to bring in all of his soldiers to hunt down the monster. Um, and then they go off into the mountains with the general guy, and the prime minister betrays the general. All of his troops like try and kill him, and they end up waking up the actual monster, which is this thing, and it like goes
Mhm.
around and starts murdering everybody. um and so it the movie kind of drags on a bit. Like it's probably like 20 or 30 minutes too long. um because it was good, and then the monster showed up, and I expected the movie to kind of wrap up its conclusion, like, oh, here comes the monster fight or whatever. But no, it continued with the prime minister. He's like, the prime minister's like, so the monster's real. The guy, his general is like, yeah, it's fucking real. he's
It's
like
real.
he's like, good, we could use this. Burn the village down. He's like,
Burn
let them
it.
know. Yeah, he's like, let them know that the monster did it, and we'll rile up the peasants to overthrow the king. It's like, at this point, you've already won. You just need to go kill the king. What are you doing? He's like, I gotta make it look, big and fantastic. Um, and meanwhile, the general survived, and he's speaking with this old man who was part of the old regime that got overthrown. He's like, "Oh yeah, I know what monster that monster is because he's seen it." He's like, "I used to take care of it. The previous king captured and collected all these exotic creatures, and basically it shows what it was before. It was like a little pet kind of cat thing. I
Mhm.
thought it was supposed to be like a tiger, but it was not the right color for it. It was far too hairy. It looked like just like a really hairy big cat, or not a big cat. It was like not even up to your D. And basically, when the king got overthrown, they were going to murder all the animals, and so the old man took it and threw it in the sewer so it could live, because he like took care of it since it was a baby. So he's sentimental towards it.
Yeah.
Basically, that fucking cat went off and ate a bunch of plagued corpses and became a walking
Oh,
plague, and like
yeah.
mutated and became like this giant cat thing. Um, so basically the maid king gets overthrown by the general guy. The general causes the creature to come out of the sewers and start murdering everybody, and like the prime minister's like, this is perfect, capture the beast. And they temporarily capture the, like, this is great, don't kill it yet. He's like, why? He's already like has the throne, right? He's like, don't kill the creature yet. He's like, okay, what do you want to do? He's like, we're gonna unleash it on the peasants so they really know who the leader is, and I'll come and I'll save them. And then it fucking like breaks loose and goes on a murder spree and kills the rest of the people and ends up killing the prime minister. And um basically there's this whole section where like the main hero guy is like, I will lure the cat underground and I'll blow it up. um
Mhm.
Manages to do it. He's fighting with it underground, try to set off these explosives. He's getting like whipped around through fucking columns and shit, and he lands into a pile of just bombs. And he grabs this torch, and this thing's like bearing down on him and about to swipe him across the face, and he just drops the torch in the pile of bombs that he's sitting on, and then the whole palace just blows up, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And like there's a big memorial scene. His daughter is crying and whatnot. Um, and they end up going underground to like where it exploded, and they have a very emotional moment. And you're like, oh, okay, this is the film's ending.
Mhm.
And she notices a bloody rope, and she looks under this pile of wood, and he is fucking alive. Um, and they have this scene where he gets medals or whatever, and they go off into the sunset or whatnot. The movie kind of ends, and then like as they're walking away, his brother is like, "So, how did you survive that blast?" And it like flashes back to what happened, and it shows like the cat creature get his paw, as he's walking, get his paw wrapped up in a rope that's on this pulley system, and one of the
Uh-huh.
ends of the rope is next to the guy. So as he grabs one end of the pulley rope, so as the cat goes to like swipe at him, it pulls all of the rope. So he drops the
Uh-huh.
fire, the cat swipes at him, and the force of the cat swiping flings him to the opposite side of the room where he just gets buried by boards and rubble when the thing explodes. And I'm like, what kind of bullshit Looney Tunes thing was that?
All outlive all. Oh my god,
uh,
that's actually really funny.
there, there's a lot of like the opening scene is kind of interesting. Not interesting. It's just kind of cool because like his daughter has like a bow on one of the guards, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just looking for the master of the house," and she's like, "There is no master here." And like the guy's brother walks by the girl, not noticing the guard guy at the house, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Ah!" And she lets the arrow go, but like it the guy like dodges, like he just does like a spin move dodge. It's really cool. He basically ends up being like the kid with the silver spoon in his mouth, but he actually learned how to fight and has skills. It was
Mhm.
just kind of like an interesting moment to like introduce, like, oh no, this guy actually knows what he's doing. He's not just a rich pompous asshole kind of thing. Just trying to think. The brother is basically a very he's supposed to be there for comedic relief. Like he's like, "You're a fighter," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a fighter. What do you mean? Don't I look like a fighter?" It's like you look like you fight your breakfast. Um, um, and so he's just a joke character. So, but he turns out to actually be like a really good fighter, and um,
I'm sorry, that killed me so bad. I wasn't ready. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
no, it's just like the it's just a very typical like, oh, the brother is like the idiot, but he's also like actually competent at what he does, but he has to throw in
Yeah.
his comedic moment stuff around. If the movie wasn't as long as it was, I'd recommend it. It's not a bad creature flick.
How long
But
is
it
it?
it does it's like 2.5 hours, I think.
Oh
It
yeah.
it, it felt like 2.5 hours, I should say. It probably wasn't 2.5 hours.
Mhm. That might be a little that might be a little too long. Yeah, I could see
Oh
that
my
actually
god,
kind
it's
of dragging.
only an hour and 45 minutes.
It felt like two and a half.
it
That
it felt like 2.5 hours. Like it felt like it ended like 3 times.
no,
But
that's understandable. Sorry, I'm
that's
getting pictures here.
yeah.
So you'd recommend it if you want a cool monster flick. Just be ready for it to drag a little bit, waiting for the.
Yeah, and the fighting in it is very good. Like it's very
Oh,
well
okay.
choreographed uh and whatnot. So you kind of, watch it for the action kind of thing.
Hmm.
It's got a little interesting little monster. Well, he's not little, but
It's got a fun giant cat, terrible monster thing. Okay.
yeah.
Well, I might have to check it out then. All right. So I started something again. I started watching Kamen Rider Black Sun, which is a reboot of Kamen Rider Black. Um, I'm about 4 episodes into it. Um, So this whole thing, there's a world that exists where there's Kai-Jin and regular people trying to coexist. So you have people who can essentially turn into monster people and regular people trying to coexist, and there's tension between them, right?
Okay.
So there's a lot of protesting, there's a lot of tension going on. A cop ends up shooting a Kaijin guy during one of the protests because things get heated, and he ends up shooting and killing him. You're following around this protagonist, and he's kind of miserable, and he's injecting himself with ketamine to suppress his Kaijin-esque stuff. And because it's been 50 years, and back in the 70s, there was a group trying to fight for the rights of Kaijins. And so you're kind of learning about the past. So it's jumping back to the 70s, and then you're jumping back to... So I haven't figured out everything that's going on yet. I don't know how much I care for that plot line necessarily. This show is violent. So, Kamen Rider, he protects this girl at the beginning, and he fights Spider-Man. Meshi, he rips off his fucking head.
Oh my gosh.
Not only that, he's fighting their suits are they've really leaned into the actual turning into a grasshopper. This isn't like, oh, he's in the mask so he can't see anything and he just looks like a grasshopper. This is no, he's changing into, he has bug armor. Like, he just looks like a grasshopper. He's got little legs on his back. Spider-Man looks horrific. He sprouts legs out of his back. He stands up on them. He's fighting him. Meshi, Kamen Rider shoves his hand into his stomach. Like, he stabs Spider-Man in the stomach and pulls out his intestine. Spider-Man tries to get away, and Kamen Rider pulls him back to him via his intestines.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
And then he gets behind him, and then he rips his fucking head off. It's kind of metal. So the plot line is this girl. It's essentially like this girl's parents have uncovered some secrets about the government and the cover up of what's going on. And, you know, this Kaijin group from the 70s made a deal with the government and political nonsense and furls and whatnot. And everyone's trying to get this little girl and get to her parents. So the flower monster from Stronger ends up being in this show. She transforms to try this flower monster lady goes to get the girl. Okay?
Okay.
She kills the caretaker lady who's watching over her.
Ooh, bad move.
The little girl has a Kaijin friend from school. He's a little sparrow kid.
Okay.
He goes in there and he goes, no, leave her alone. The flower monster lady knocks him to the floor, has heels on, steps on his head, and steps on him till his eye pops out and you hear his skull crack.
Oh, that
And
is.
this is like, and you see this little sparrow guy, and it's really sad because it's like, oh god, no.
That's not what I was expecting.
Yeah, and then so they're chasing down the flower monster and the other so there's Kamen Rider Black Sun, and it's Kamen Rider, I think, Glowing Moon. So there's two of them. There's one with black armor and one with white armor. So the white armor one tackles the flower monster lady standing, bites into her side, and then rips her in half.
Oh my god.
And then the flower monster lady's like crawling away like a torso, like an MK fatality, being like, oh god. So I'm gonna. It's really, you know, it's it's violent.
It sounds really cool.
You know, there's just a lot of in between because you're jumping back and forth with like what happened in the past with these protests that happened in the 70s when everybody's wearing bell-bottom pants. What deal did they make with the prime minister? Um, you have a scene of the prime minister in current day, and guess what he's got, Meshy?
uh, yeah, kaijuism. I don't know.
That's right, Meshy. He's sitting in front of a katsu fried pork cutlet that's cut on top of a bed of rice with a boat of curry, and he puts a little gravy on top. And he looks at it and goes, "No," and puts all the curry on top, and then pulls out the QP mayo and drizzles it on top, and proceeds to eat like a fat cat. You
If I
know,
had 100 years, I would never have been able to guess that.
I know. I was just waiting for you to say something. I was like, "You're right, Meshy." So there's a
He
lot
does
of in
sound
between.
deliciously evil, though.
Yeah, he's just like I'm a government fat cat.
Meow.
Meow. And yeah. So we'll see. I'm gonna finish the series out and see how I like it. I'm kind of just waiting for Kamen Rider Black Sun and Kamen Rider Glowing Moon to have like another cool fight off. I've only seen one fight of them, and they kind of like teased it. It was like a full
Is
fight.
it a long series or?
10 episodes.
Oh, okay, it's not bad.
It's a standalone reimagining.
Gotcha.
So I think I watched one episode previously and it didn't grab me immediately, and I'm coming back to it just to see how I feel about it now. So we're like, I think I watched 4 episodes today. Um, the overarching subplot kind of bores me, um, but the fights are kind of cool. Like they're not like like it's not crazily done, but violent things are happening.
Does
But
it
maybe
does
they're
it have
saying,
a pops?
does it have what?
A pops?
No, there's no pops. This guy is
Mm.
just depressed and alone and whatever. Because I think pops might have stopped with Stronger. So uh, I'm going to finish out Skyrider. I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to watch Amazon and I'm going to watch the rest of Skyrider and kind of see where that goes. Because I want to get to modern stuff, but I also really appreciate the old stuff. Um, But this was like a quick one, and I wanted some more Kamen Rider, and I was like, well, I'm kind of riding a high right now, so maybe me being just like in love with Kamen Rider again, I'll give the show another shot and just kind of see what I can get from it. Um, so
You
far,
are a trooper.
what can I say, Meshi? Kamen Rider was always there for me, and will continue being there for me.
So you have to be there for it.
Exactly. That's what it's like. Oh, you know, you're gonna watch Kamen Rider? Yeah, there's like, you know, over 1,000 episodes, and spanning over the course of like 50 years. And it's like, okay, I'll start with episode 1.
Well, why shouldn't I start with episode 1?
It was, you know. So I'll probably give an update. I'll probably finish it by next week, and I'll see about my feelings on it. Because I feel like this show for me is going to be a culmination for a cool 1v1 Rider versus Rider fight. That's kind of all I want from it. Um, but we watched a movie together. This fucking face.
What a face.
So we watched the reboot of Running Man. Is that what we call these? Remake?
Reboot. No, remake probably is better. Yeah.
The remake of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Running Man. This movie takes quite a different event. This is more of poor guy can't find work because he keeps getting fired for being a moral upstanding guy, and
Yeah.
he needs medicine for his daughter. So the last place he can go is this reality TV show to compete for money, and they assign him to the worst game possible, which is the Running Man, where he has to run away and not get killed. And if he runs away for long enough, he gets all the money, right?
Yes. Survive for 30 days.
Yeah. So the first movie, Arnold was a part of the police force for this utopian society. This guy's just a poor working class guy, and he's just trying to get money for his sick daughter. Um, how'd you feel about this movie, Meshi?
So I'll be honest, when I saw like the trailer and saw that it was coming out, I did not have like hopes for it in any regard. Like I was just like, ugh, why are they doing this? I was pleasantly surprised. I actually enjoyed this movie more than I thought I was going to.
That's so funny because I feel as though I came from the exact opposite side, where I saw the initial trailer and I kind of had, I think, my expectations too high, and I was a little let down by it. So, tell me how you enjoyed this movie.
Well, I just um it just like like the original Running Man is just like what is it, 80s? It's just such a like an early I'm like it's not
80,
even
yeah.
Arnold's fault. It's just such an early 80s movie where like the like the main hunters are all kind of
Wearing glow sticks and
goofballs.
shitty costumes. Yeah.
Yeah, and whatnot. And you're just kind of like, oh, kill this fuck for me, please.
Yeah, so we can
um
move on with the movie.
this one, I don't know. I think it's probably because I liked the people in it, like the main bad guy, Thanos, and
Hmm.
this guy, the actor. I don't know his name. Probably should. He embodies the rage so well in the movie that I was just having fun watching him
Be
do it.
angry.
Yeah, I was just having an enjoyable time watching him be angry. And I think that's probably why I like the movie, is mostly because of him.
Yeah, and I will say, like, overall, I did enjoy it. I did. I thought I was going to be enjoying it more, and it ended up being a little, how do I put it? It almost had a feeling of made for general audiences kind of vibe to it, where I kind of want, because the original Running Man is quirky in its own right, and it's kind of weird and kind of, well, kind of like we said, like 80s, but it had a very kind of strange quirk to it. I
Yeah.
thought this was going to be a little darker and more violent and kind of whatever, and it ended up kind of being just kind of for everybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
I think I built this movie up in my head more than it should have been, but I still did enjoy it. Overall, I kind of, if you want to watch this guy be angry and run away and hurt people, it's pretty fun. I enjoyed it.
What's Michael that Michael Sarah part was actually way better than I thought.
Oh my god, that's the other part I was worried about was Michael Cera's in this movie. Michael Cera delivers.
One can
you
only
know,
hope.
because he's not great in a lot of things, but he's pretty good in this movie. All right, so I watched the rest of Tojima, and you watched Make My Day. Meshi, what the hell is this?
So again, I was looking for, monster movie to watch, creature flick, and this popped up, and I literally just was like, you know what, fuck it, why not? I need something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this wasn't bad, but it also wasn't great. Um, it was more, I like it, like the deaths in this fucking show are fucking horrific. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that is the monster right there. Um,
Yeah.
so they're basically on an alien world, that's just like an ice planet, and basically the future of humanity has found this energy source that can basically you can refine it into these tiny cubes, and basically it powers everything. It's just
Uh-huh.
a resource that they can mine and refine into this super energy. They use it for
Uh-huh.
literally everything. Well, these creatures feed on it, and they're basically dormant below the planet, and they end up. You find out later that the government ends up waking them up on purpose, but you kind of think initially it's like an accidental
Mhm.
whatever. So you're just following the journey of one guy who is that guy. He's just trying to basically make a life for himself. He's just kind of not crybaby soldier guy, but like I'm just here to try and make a living and whatever. And so he's just kind of fearful. He's not ready for like the horrificness that's gonna
He's a
happen.
little green. He's not ready
Yeah.
for giant roly-poly monsters that's gonna eat you.
Yeah. And so
Yeah, that
you
sounds good.
basically follow his journey through this as he basically forms like kind of his own clan in a way, like his own family. So like he meets all these wacky characters and they kind of come together and they end up being the only ones that survive this entire incident. This is a colony filled with like hundreds of thousands of people like all
Mhm.
across the planet. They're just in different like mining colonies and whatnot, and they're the only ones that live through this. um but like those fucking things are horrific. Like they're based on one of that microscopic creature thing you probably have seen. I can't remember their names. But basically they when they eat the energy source, they produce a gas in them which makes them float. That's how they can fly. But the
Uh-huh.
gas is also highly combustible. They are super resistant to uh like things stabbing them. So like if you hit them with like a high velocity projectile, it's not going to pierce it. It's just going to hit their skin, and you see it a lot of times. It'll go into the skin and then it will like shoot back out. Super rubbery. But you can like pierce it with like small like blades and whatnot in specific points. So they're not like completely invulnerable. There's just
Mhm.
a fucking lot of them. Um and they basically can be smashed and ran over, and they basically turn into like pancake versions of themselves, and then when the object is moved they pop
Yeah.
back up.
Oh my
um
god. So they they can flatten out and pop back. Oh, okay.
yeah, but like the way they kill you is they basically grab onto you with their little tentacle mouths.
Uh-huh.
um and then they wrap you up like a snake and like bend your limbs around
Oh.
into a shape that they can then fit inside of them. So
Oh.
then they suck you in while you're alive most of the time. You go
Uh-huh.
through their digestive system for like 2 seconds, and then they shit you out into a pile of goo. And like people die horribly in this thing. Like there's two people that you're initially like, oh, I hate these guys, they just kind of they're meant to be hated, but then they turn
Mhm.
out to they have their heart of gold moment, and you're like, oh, they're about to die for this person,
Oh
because they
no.
go out and they go and save him, and they're
Yeah.
trying to defend him from this stuff, and they both get latched, and it's just a slow motion of them being like wrapped up by these tentacles and their legs and arms being like twisted
Oh.
around, and like
Oh.
some of the tentacles going up their nose, and then them just
Oh.
getting sucked into it and then just shot out the back, and just being there, just their just goo, just giant mountains of goo everywhere. And they can eat through metal, and basically they have there's scenes where like, because there's a military presence or whatever, and they have this jet plane hovercraft basically that has a minigun and missiles, and it's just shooting into them
Yeah.
and firing missiles, and it flies over them as it does it, like it does a drive by, and basically they all explode and take out the plane because they don't know they just are explosive.
Yeah.
um so there's like a lot of cool scenes in this. Basically there's a scene when the initial wave happens and there's like 500 of them trying to climb out this cave. He he gets into this mining machinery with two giant like grinding wheels on it, and then just spins it towards them and just shreds them to pieces.
Mhm.
It's so there's just like goo and shit going everywhere. And then he has to leave because all of the gas that he just released combusts and just goes off like a nuke. So there's like a lot of cool parts, but like the story is kind of meh overall. And
And
um
the art direction, or the art direction seemed like it actually it looks hyper generic.
yeah, like it's not great art. But like but there's so much like just like soul killing crap that happens in it. Like he has his uncle that took him in has a heart of gold. Like all he wants to
Mhm.
do is for him to have a better life. He doesn't
Yeah.
turn on the heat. He doesn't use the energy cubes that the guy gives him because he's like, I'm saving this up so you can leave the planet. Like I want you to leave.
Oh,
He
yeah.
he's got two. I think he's got two fake legs or one fake leg. I forget. Um, and his next door neighbor, which is the woman that he's interested in, and her family, they have, her mom has two. She has two. I think they're twins, brother and sister, and like they're shown, and they have a heart of gold, and they're like really into the guy, and they're like, oh, draw us a picture. They're just like they're building it up to be really sad, and basically
Mhm.
he goes home to try and rescue them. He goes into the apartment. The kids have died waiting for him to get home because the
Oh fuck.
planet's atmosphere is toxic. So like
Uh-huh.
when the beast bore into the thing, they don't have gas mask. And so they died. They just died hugging each other in their apartment. And then he rounds the corner, and one of those things, he can see the mom inside of it, like her horrified face. And then he rounds the corner again, and the his girlfriend who's pregnant is in like an atmosphere bubble or whatever, because for whatever reason. But
Mhm.
his uncle is halfway inside of one of these things.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's just like a scene, and the uncle goes out like a G. Like, oh my god. He fucking goes, "You need to leave." And he's like, "No, I'm not leaving." And so he pulls him out of it, and it rips both of his legs off. So
Yeah.
he's just a torso upwards, but he's alive
Yeah.
because of the machinery is kind of holding him in. And he's
Yeah.
like, "You need to go." And he fucking grabs a kitchen knife and just stabs the tentacles, which grabs him. And then the
Uh-huh.
thing just starts whipping him around the room and like bashing him into things because
Yeah.
because it's in pain. And then like he gets one final like smack on the floor, and he looks at him. He's like, "You have a good life, and remember, always be smiling." And then like it just falls off of a cliff and blows
Oh.
up.
Damn.
He's just it was just like, how are you still alive? But it was fine for what it was. uh you just kind of watch it for the do like a compilation of the horrific deaths. It's
Yeah,
fine.
there's those shows and like movies that you watch that you're just like, let me just see how horrible things get, just so you can have that. Yeah, no, I get it. Speaking of horrible things happening to people, um, I showed you all Angel Cop.
Yes, you did.
this this is an '80s anime. I think about it often, just because it's one of those shows that you watched as a young man and it makes an impression on you, and I think you can see why. Um, and then years later, the First Ascendant decided to make a costume based off of it. you know, um, this has some of the most gorgeous hand drawn art in animation I literally think ever. Some of the shots in this OVA are absolutely gorgeous. Not speaking of the giant lady right here. um, but to each their own. Her name's Lucifer. She's kind of horrible. That's a member of Kiss.
Yeah, he
This is
definitely kind of reminded me of that.
yeah, it's a very there's a lot of 80s like design influence in this show. It's violent, it's political, and it's 6 episodes. What do you think of it, Meshi?
I thought it
God,
was.
look at that shot. Jesus Christ. Someone animated that by hand. Jesus Christ. Meshi, gorgeous. You know,
Uh,
it's that's what you live for. All right, go on. I'm sorry.
no, so I'm going to put the art aside. We're just going
Mhm,
to be in agreement that it looked really great.
mhm.
that way, you're not shooting, trying to shoot me for attacking the show. Um, like the plot, not the plot was hard to follow, but it was just kind of like I think it was just because it was the censored version that was just like okay, it's just and then you have like
Yeah.
like well, I don't know remember what episode I came in. Did I come in at the first one? So I was kind of on board.
No, that might have also been it. I think you came in around episode 2, I think, or 3.
Yeah,
It's a very Japanese plot of nationalism versus outside influence. Um, it's a very Japanese story.
yeah, yes, it is.
So if you're into that and like the social ramifications of certain things happening and whatnot and how that impacts society as a whole and whatnot, it can be and it's it's also a 6-part OVA. So it comes with old anime where it's things are sped up and kind of move they move along because this originally came out like on 3 VHS tapes. So this plot moves pretty fast, and there's a lot going on in terms of who's working with who and what's happening here, and then double crosses happen, and it ends up not being this thing and that the third. Um,
I think overall I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed all the scenes and whatnot. I think I was
mhm,
just mostly confused as to like now there's RoboCop. And
yeah,
I think
and
that might be
yeah,
where it throws me off.
yeah, you missed the beginning part where you're introduced to the scientist and essentially how he ends up in getting operated on. So you missed out on whole. So you did miss essentially
Gotcha.
the premise of the show. So that might have also I didn't think about that. I was just talking with Milk and Yatra, and then you showed up.
Yeah, it's
And we were just having fun listening to the old 80s voiceover.
oh man, that fucking voiceover. There was so many great just insults going on.
They used to just be able to do whatever they wanted, Meshi, and a lot of I mean the same thing happened with we watched what was it, Appleseed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's just some good there's a soft spot in my heart for like old 90s and 80s OVA dubs that are just like, oh, that's crisp. Like Fist or not Fist of the North Star, I'm sorry. JoJo Part 3, the original. There's just stuff in there that I'm just like, yeah, this is a better time. But I would recommend it just from like an art standpoint. If you want to watch some gorgeous hand drawn animation, watch it. It's a spectacle. If you're into art, I think it'll light your creative fire, if you will.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot of gorgeous shots.
especially that lady getting shot in the head.
Yeah, especially that lady getting shot in the
um, we'll end on this. So we started watching, I think probably the first 4 episodes of Ted.
Yeah.
Um, I'll be honest with you, Meshi. I came into this with pretty low expectations. I like the Ted movies. Um, they're not amazing. Well, they're good. Everything surrounding Mark Wahlberg, he's not that great.
Right.
This show alleviates that tenfold. I love the teenage kid in this show so much more. I think he
He does
plays
a
off.
really good job.
He
Yeah.
plays off of Ted better. The whole family is hilarious. The only normal one is the cousin living with them. The dad, the mom and dad are fucking hilarious. When we're watching this show, I feel as though I'm laughing harder than I have at a lot of stuff, and it made me realize that me and Meshi got Seth MacFarlane coded at a young age from watching
Yeah,
Family
we
Guy.
did. We
It,
did.
it it's our sense of humor, and I think it's why we're so similar. It's so good.
There's so much good shit in here. It's amazing. You immediately opened with diarrhea.
um, if you're a 30-year-old guy, I think you'll absolutely adore this show.
For the dad
I
alone, really.
the dad, everybody's good in it.
Yeah.
It's the surprising part. The kid's great. The mom's fucking hilarious. So I've hidden the Heath bar around the house. Okay, it's in the laundry basket. I can't do that to you. I'll go grab it. Oh, I couldn't recommend the show more. We're still in the first season. We're gonna keep trucking through it. There's 2 seasons of this. I hope they do more. Or maybe 2 seasons might be enough for it. But I'd highly recommend it. I've been laughing more at this than I have at a lot of stuff in a long time.
Yeah, I highly recommend. I think they just did season 2, like it just came out, so
Oh,
uh,
awesome. Okay.
takes a while to animate that CGI bear.
Oh. Yeah, highly recommend. Okay, so that wraps it up for our podcast. Please subscribe. That would be wonderful. My Twitch link will be down below, and we'll see y'all next week. Goodbye, YouTube.
Bye.